Before we start this video, I just wanted to let you know that if you're looking to get anything in Crowfall, you can use the link in the description down below to get you 10% off any of your Crowfall purchases. And if you're looking to just have some fun, hang out, you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Parfaxgaming. All right, let's start with the video. Hey guys, Parfax here today. I want to bring you a video on my thoughts on the Crowfall launch so far. There's been good and there's been bad. I'll show you bits and pieces of the bad so you guys kind of know what you're getting into and to really see if you guys want to purchase the game. All right, let's get started. So I'm here, I'm just on one of these starter realms and I am just leveling up a character. And this is one of the things that is going to go on my good list. Now you're like, Parfax, why are you doing this? Just trust me, okay? But the one thing they added right before launch, and I think it's a very good quality of life for people that have either played the game or really looking at just kind of leveling up a bunch of characters, is they've added in this thing right here, level 25 jumpstart. Now I know a lot of people were worried, oh, that's pay to win, because if you're a VIP, you can do this. Well, even if you don't have VIP, when you buy the game, any package, they give you one of these, which is a level 25 level up tome. And you only get one of them, where VIP you get as much as you possibly want, but it'll still give you level 25. Plus, if you're new to the game, I don't actually think you should do this, or if you do, really make sure first you have a good build in mind, one that you've already pre-planned using one of the planners, or you've looked up a build guide, because you don't have to re-level your character, especially if you're going to use your level 25 tome if you don't have VIP. If you have VIP, it doesn't matter. You can just respec your character at any time. If you don't have VIP, then it costs you, I think, 75,000 gold to respec your character. So make sure you plan it out. But the main reason why I actually suggest you not do this is because of the new player experience. And this is going to be another thing on the good list. And the new player experience is actually very good. I actually really like it. I've done it. I even leveled a character to 25. I started him at 25 just to make it go a little faster on the new player experience. And I went and I actually did the complete new player experience, because it gives you actually a lot of base things that you want in the game. It gives you a decent amount of gold. It gives you some ethereal dust, which you need for crafting. It gives you food. It gives you a little bit. It gives you gear. It gives you a little bit of everything, and it's something that's just really good for you to do. Now let's really talk about the meat and potatoes of the game. Let's not talk about really the little systems, which we knew were going to be in the game basically, at least as launch happened. Let's talk about how the game's performing, what the PvP has been like, and just kind of overall my thoughts on Crowfall. So right now, the game has put up 3 different dregs, and we have the new player experience. We don't have any of the faction versus faction yet, which is where a lot of the newer players are going to have the ability to just come in and get a taste of it before they join a guild, which is kind of unfortunate. I was kind of hoping they'd put one up, but they do have the dregs up. And if you are looking at if you're new to the game, you have a smaller guild, I definitely suggest you go into West. West is definitely the newer player dregs versus East. East has a lot of the guilds like mine, which is hacks. There's Acolytes, there's W, there's All of Death. There's a lot of the really big guilds, and you're very much more likely to run into big 50-man Zerg squads. Because with especially the 3 or 4 main big alliances that are in there, a lot of them are going to be rolling around in big numbers. So in order to fight the 50 the 50 people running around, 60 people running around, you've got to run in your own 50 or 60-man squads. So I would definitely, if you're new, I would go into West and not East. East is just going to be a kind of a slaughter fest, but it's still a lot of fun if you want to run in there and kind of hang with the big dogs. Maybe check out, see which guilds you want to run with and all of that. but I definitely suggest going into West versus East. So next, let's talk about sort of the elephant in the room, and that is performance. How's performance handling? How is the game handling itself and all that? So if you are not doing big sieges, the game runs just fine. I have been playing. You'll get some people, like if you saw there just a minute ago, there was somebody kind of like glitched around my screen. That's actually not the game. That is just their internet. We have somebody in our guild that has that really, you know, poo-poo internet. And I make fun of him all the time because he has the ghost horse, or it's just a blue horse. And he kind of glitches around the map all the time. And I think it's funny. It was like, you know, we can always tell where he's at. It's a little ghost horse glitching around. I think I have the horse here somewhere. No, it's not that one. No, it's not this one, but we're gonna put this one in anyway. Yeah, so if you see people glitching around like you run around here, that's actually just their internet being not so good versus the server. Now, I'm gonna now talk about sort of the bad when it comes to server performance, and that is your really big scale PvP. Now, I'm gonna show you a clip of some PvP. We were going against Winterblades. Winterblades had 55. We probably had 60 or 65. So we definitely had the numbers on them. And then at one point, Death came in to kind of finish zone capping. I think we might have been zone capped 200 between our three factions, or three guilds / alliances. And the game didn't run so well. So let me show you that clip now. Okay, so here is a big fight. Like I said, W had at least 55. We had on our little parser. And then we had, I think, 65. We definitely had a little bit more numbers than them, but that's not really why, you know, I'm showing this fight. I'm just showing you for performance reasons. Now, mind you, this is almost, we had the zone capped here at the end. We didn't really actually get into a fight where we were all fighting at once, mainly because the group that came in ended up trying to wrap behind W. We kind of pushed out to W, and then W just kind of ended up running away. And they just didn't have quite the numbers. But we can show you sort of how the server performed here with well over 100 people fighting on the screen at one time. So you're gonna see some stuttering, you're gonna see some lagging. I don't have my FPS up because I don't keep it up. I just don't feel like I need to. In here, okay, if you're a squishy leather user, don't do this, but I put out a lot of damage right there. But as you can see, some people are kind of, you know, glitching around. I am having an okay time. Some players on my screen I can see are having a little bit worse of a time. You can see kind of them. Some of them are jumping around a little bit. This isn't any worse than, for instance, like if you play ESO and you have this many people on your screen. ESO can be even a little bit worse. And don't get me wrong, this can get a little bit worse once, you know, if you have all full 200 people fighting on your screen at one time. But I'm still able to completely control my character. It may not be as, you know, absolutely smooth as I would like, and the developers still really need to, you know, get performance a lot better. I mean, no one's going to say that they don't. But this is kind of the worst of the performance. You see here, you get some hitching a little bit, and you get some people that are kind of lagging around. Every once in a while, I'll see the screen stop. But for the most part, I never really truly lose control of my character. I even get pulled a few times. I'm gonna get some like hitching right there. Like hitching is probably the worst thing that I see. You know, every once in a while your screen will kind of lock up for a split second. You don't have extremely long skill delay like ESO, and you don't have quite the slideshow. Now, I've heard some people said, not in this fight, but some other fights, that they've had a slideshow. Maybe when it gets to 200, it can become, you know, quite a slideshow. But as you can see here, this is just kind of, I don't want to say as bad as it gets, because I'm sure it can get a little bit worse. I haven't experienced any 100v100 battles yet, or all 200 people fighting at the same time, which 200 is a zone cap, if you didn't know. But you can kind of see here, this is what we experienced last night, and there's well over 100 people in this fight, and there's well over 100 people in the zone. There's even more than this in the zone. I don't remember. I think at this point Death was already in zone, which basically made it zone capped. But this was still a fun fight. I got I think 12 kills in this fight. This fight goes on for a little bit, but it was still a lot of fun. I'd never, had very long skill delay. I didn't have any huge lag spikes. It never got the slideshow. As you see here, this is about as bad as it gets here. You get the little stutter, and then you'll get a little screen stoppage. But I'm still definitely putting this under the bad category because, for a launch game, you would hope that performance is better. But hopefully with the more fights that we're having now, the better they can get a little bit more optimized. Now, I know if you're like me and you've played the game, we've had a lot of these fights before, but let's just hope that performance increases. But I wanted to make sure I put this in the bad. All right, so we'll get back to the game and we'll continue the video. So there you saw kind of how the server was performing in a larger scale battle. And, where it performed fine, like better than maybe some other games that I've played, it has a lot, it has a lot of, improvements it can make. I was never lost control of my character. I was still able to do literally everything. But, it still can be kind of frustrating to see some of the lag, which I completely understand. So we're going to talk about two more things for the negative. First is going to be the raid bosses, especially here in God's Reach. I'm not sure if they can't tune them down, or if they just haven't tuned them down. I don't know. But the raid bosses in God's Reach have been quite unfortunate. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a mob that will spawn at some of your locations, and at the your camp locations, and they can be kind of how do I want to put it, deadly, I guess is the best way to put it. Essentially, there is a mob that'll spawn. It'll say raid boss underneath it, and it's an absolute juggernaut. If you get the Archon, which is the Confessor, they will literally teleport and one-shot you. If you're a tankier class, it might 3 or 4 shot you, but it will, if you are slightly squishy, he will literally just teleport on top of you and kill you. The Assassin's not too bad because he's melee, but I'm not sure why they would have them in the new player experience. I understand you want to get used to them, but they are so over-tuned for a new player and for people with no gear that essentially what it does is it makes some mob spawns unusable. Like, they're still there. Like, we have big guilds. One, it's not worth our time to kill it, even if we could. And even if we could kill it, which we probably could if we got a full meta PvE style group together and we were willing to die over and over again, it takes so long to actually kill it, it's not really worth it. There's no tanking mechanic in the game, so you can't just have like an Uber tank taunt it and he'll stay under that person the whole entire time. He just typically goes towards your DPS mainly, so you just have to be willing to bring 30 people and have 15 people die. Essentially, if you want to kill the raid boss, maybe even more than that. It's pretty rough. I'm not sure if they just overtuned it or not. It's a little rough right now. It's, and then the last thing that's going to go on the negative list is mob UI. So the mob UI in the game right now is fine, but there have been a couple, especially camps and stuff like that, that have actually kind of bugged out and have led to some funny type of camps where the mobs will sit there unless they dodge roll. They'll just sit there and attack you. Now, they have fixed some of them. I don't know if they've officially fixed all of them, but it is something that it's happened before in the past. It doesn't typically take very long to fix it, and can be pretty funny but kind of annoying. Like, I'm a warden. I like to basically get everything together and group them up and then kill them, but sometimes it can be hard, but it's not too big of a deal. You still can kill them. It still doesn't affect really anything other than it slows me down a little bit on actually killing them, but it's still completely fine. It's a little unfortunate, but it is something you don't want to necessarily see. But I think they've fixed. They had a patch today and I think yesterday. I think they're fixed. I'll have to go out into the campaign to check. I haven't seen anything in the new player experience. We're on God's Reach. I haven't seen anything there that has affected it, so it's only in campaign. But you know, it is unfortunate. And the last thing, well, actually, that's all for the negatives. The last thing I will want to talk about is a couple more of the positives. We've had tons of small fights. I can't tell you how many. You go out there, and I've had probably 100 small fights happen. It's been a lot of fun, and I've, you know, really enjoyed actually going out there and getting all the fights that I have. And it's been kind of a nice little touch. I've had so much fun just running around. And, okay, don't judge me for getting archery on my Templar. Okay, we'll talk about that later. But we've had tons of small fights, and the community has been absolutely amazing. Anytime we've had, like, there's been some streamers, they were kind of confused on some of the stuff because Crowfall doesn't tell you everything, but the community has been great about helping them out. People that have had questions in the chat, people have been really good about helping them out. And overall, the community hasn't been that toxic. You always have your couple toxic players, and if you're a vet, you pretty much know who they are. Obviously not gonna shout out any names. So it's been unfortunate on a little bit of scale for that, but you're gonna have that in literally, especially PvP MMOs, you're gonna have that all over the place. And finally, I've just had a ton of fun playing. I know a lot of people, you know, I've got a lot of comments on my YouTube channel like, oh, this game looks like crap. Well, Jonah Vale, if you guys haven't watched him, he's actually pretty awesome. He's a streamer. I've watched him for years. He said it the best. Crowfall isn't the best game to watch. But it is a lot more fun to play. I completely butchered. I forget exactly how he said it. But, you know, you might look at the gameplay and be like, I don't know. But once you start playing the game, it actually feels really good. I know I'm kind of a homer. I've played this game for 5 years, and you know, I've been kind of a homer for this game for a while. I love what the game brings to the table. I love this cool type of, you know, PvP focused MMO, which we don't get a whole lot of them. The gameplay is semi-similar to like an Albion is probably the close, but really comparing it to anything really doesn't do it justice. It's really its own game. You know, it's semi-similar to maybe like a Shadowbane or an Albion, but it's really, like I said, its own game. And if you like PvP MMOs and anything that I said sounds like something you might be willing to play, and you have, you know, $40, actually less than $40, because, you know, type in that code, get 10% off. If you like PvP MMOs and you have a little bit extra money to spend, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, let's be honest, you can go to the movie theater. When I went to the movie theater to watch Fast 9 the other day. I know Fast 9, you know, it's like I've seen all the Fast the Furious movies. You got to keep watching them. And I spent, I think, like $50 between just my wife and myself at the movie theater. And I got a couple hours of entertainment and some popcorn and a bottle of water. And I think maybe some milk. That's okay. Don't judge. But I got all that for $50, and I got a couple hours of entertainment out of it, where I have probably at this point 2,000-3,000 hours in Crowfall for I originally bought an $80 purchase. So if you buy the Crowfall and, you know, you spend your $36 on it, you get the 10% off coupon. It's not really a coupon, it's a code, but whatever. I imagine you will have at least your $36 worth of fun out of it. All right, so to kind of go over the list of stuff that is good and bad. So for the good, we have the level 25 boost, and there's quick leveling. The new player experience has been absolutely amazing. The West campaign is definitely more new player friendly, which allows a lot of newer players to get in there and have some fun. Performance in small group fights have been absolutely fine. There's been a ton of small fights, and the community has been absolutely great. Now for the negatives, we have large scale PvP performance hasn't been the greatest. I wish they would have put up a faction versus faction for new players. The raid bosses in God's Reach are a little ridiculous, and the mob UIs had a little bit of problems. My overall thoughts are the game's been a lot of fun. If you, especially you're a new player, you don't have maybe the best of PC, maybe you're, you know, on that straight potato, maybe this isn't a game for you. If you're looking at doing the large group stuff, maybe wait a little bit. So if you're looking at playing a PvP MMO, come on over. You got a little bit extra money to spend, you know, come on, try it out. It's only $36. I know some people might be a little taken back by it, but if you have a little bit extra money, you like playing PvP MMOs, I kind of broke it down, the good and the bad. If you like the good and it overweighs the bad, come on over. Community's been great. We'll help you out. And I hope you have a great day.